next phase in the murder trial of Blade Runner Oscar Pistorius is quickly approaching. It's been on hold for nearly a month. The double amputee Olympic track star is charged in the shooting death of his girlfriend in South Africa. Tonight, on a special Monday edition of 48 Hours, Deborah Pata and Peter Van Zandt look at a pivotal turning point with the entire case on the line. Peter's here with a preview. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning, Nora. The High Court in Johannesburg is about to reconvene to hear the results of the psychiatric evaluation of Oscar Pistorius, which will determine if he somehow is mentally impaired when he shot his girlfriend, actress and model, Reeva Steenkamp. The outcome of that evaluation will decide Pistorius's competency to continue to stand trial. But the question remains, was this a case of mistaken identity or a lover's argument gone terribly wrong?
People are glued to this trial. This is the trial of the century.
You fired at Reeva. I did not fire at Reeva.
What happened was a tragedy.
Family friend Mike Azzi has known Oscar since he was 15.
He said to me that, "Uncle Mike, I loved her." He burst into tears and he broke down and he said, "I really loved this girl and I miss her."
For 3 short months, they were South Africa's golden couple.
Hi, I'm Oscar's date tonight.
A man who overcame incredible disability and then met an incredibly talented, beautiful woman, fell in love, and then tragedy struck.
Sometime during the early morning of February 14th, 2013, Reeva Steenkamp was shot 4 times, an act which the prosecution is convinced was the result of a vicious argument.
This isn't really a whodunit, it's really a why done it.
One gunshot, maybe it was by accident. But 4 gunshots, quite honestly, seems to be intentional.
But Pistorius says it was all just a terrible mistake.
I thought that there was a burglar that was gaining entry into my home.
My colleague Deborah Pata picks up the story inside the courtroom.
After 12 days and 15 witnesses for the prosecution, the most important piece of evidence would be this bathroom door, a silent witness showing the placement of the 4 bullets fired from Oscar's gun.
It's absolutely crucial that the state can show that there was a delay in the shooting.
Why is that delay important?
Because it then can be argued that Reeva, after the first shot in the hip, would have cried out, thus dispelling any notion that Oscar would have had of it being an intruder.
At first glance, Oscar Pistorius' story sounds ridiculous, but you have to step back and realize there's context that we need to put into the Oscar Pistorius story and his version of events.
Have you ever been a victim to crime? Yes, I have. My home had been broken into in 2005. I've been followed home late at night.
Oscar's fear for his safety would become the dramatic turning point. A defense expert would testify about Oscar's state of mind and reveal a stunning diagnosis.
Mr. Pistorius has a long history of generalized anxiety disorder that appears to have been increasing with time.
If Oscar Pistorius has an anxiety disorder, he will walk. He will be found not guilty, not liable, but the odds of that happening are slim to none.
So when will the judge get the evaluation?
The evaluation should be in 2 weeks from today.
And what's the thinking? Are you hearing any thinking on how they believe the judge is going to rule in this case?
This is, as has been mentioned, the O.J. Simpson case of South Africa. The judge is a woman. Reeva Steenkamp spoke out passionately against domestic violence in South Africa, which is at epidemic levels. And there is concern because in that country, more men are acquitted of killing women than any other place by percentage in the world.
What's the most compelling reason you hear in South Africa as to why he did it? What's the evidence that convinces you?
The evidence that is overwhelming is that he made his way to that door. There are ear witnesses, as they call them, on either side of his house who heard this screaming. The gunshots are fired through. There is a belief that there was a pause during the course of that when neighbors still heard more screaming, meaning he had a moment to realize it was Reeva in there. Remember, the bathroom door was locked?
Right.
And so the belief is she fled into there because of anger outburst from Oscar and that he gunned her down. And the angles of the bullets are suggestive he was on his prosthetic and that that's what he did.
And if there is doubt, what would that be?
The doubt right now is primarily going to be when this mental test comes back to see if he has this anxiety disorder. If that happens, this can go in a completely different direction. They could actually suspend the trial and Oscar seek treatment, or it may be a mitigating factor in what happens to a potential sentence for him.
And there's no jury in South Africa, so the milady, the judge in the case, will make the ruling. Because I'm wondering what effect his crying and tears have had during this trial.
I think they've been very powerful, emotionally powerful for a nation who looked upon him as almost an Abraham Lincoln type figure for South Africa. But one last thing, one of his best friends was in Arkansas. I interviewed him, and he said Oscar slept every night with a handgun. He was so fearful of crime.
All right, Peter Van Sant, thank you.